What is that in court?
I mean, what is my office? Sit down. What do you mean? Respect the office. Sit down. No, you must respect people. Why the drama? Respect his hand. We are all adults. The
children here.
Why don't you go out and listen to the press? We won't go out. It is so wrong to go to your office. Everybody deserves dignity. But why do they behave like that? We like violence. We like violence. Listen.
What you want to
I don't like violence.
You know the children are here.
We don't like violence.
We like violence.
And I don't even also like violence. No! We are comrades.
And regrettably, it has not been possible to proffer a full explanation of the situation until now. My Lord, on each occasion when the personal attendance in court by Mr. Masengeli was required, he was disabled from doing so by pressing exigencies of duty out of Nairobi. And on each such instance, discreet attempts were made to communicate these difficulties to court without having to disclose delicate and sensitive operational detail which were of national security nature. When the orders of 26th of August 2024 were served on the first respondent on the 29th of August, Mr. Masengeli, in his capacity as the acting head of the police service, was already in Lamu on official duty. When the orders of 26th of August 2024 were served on the first respondent on the 29th of August, Mr. Masengeli, in his capacity as the acting head of the police service, was already in Lamu on official duty. As is now common public knowledge, that region suffers from a very tenuous security situation. Mr. Masengeli and other national security operatives had traveled to attend to urgent security concerns. Accordingly, the Director of Legal of the National Police Service, Mr. Charles Otiende, was detailed to attend court at the next mention of the matter on the 3rd of September 2024. He was to inform the court of the circumstances under which, thus far, the first respondent had been incapable or disabled from complying substantively with the habeas corpus application. However, the official was seized with information which would reply to the court's questions relating to the habeas corpus. The instructions to Mr. Otiende were issued on the understanding that, on a reasonable reading and construction of the order of 26th of August 2024, the first respondent could be represented in court by any competent officer or official. Mr. Masengeli had also been advised that the court proceedings on the 3rd of September were scheduled to be virtual and that the representative of the first respondent could attend virtually. My Lord, in a further effort to assist the court in its inquiry, the respondents filed an affidavit on the 4th of September 2024 in reply to the ones filed by the petitioners. In his affidavit, he set out an account of how the first respondent received a missing persons report and the ongoing investigation measures that it was undertaking to trace the whereabouts of the missing individuals. My Lord, when the matter was again mentioned in court on the 5th of September, Mr. Masengeli was still engaged in the security operations in the coast region. He provided an affidavit and affidavit evidence to this effect as Annexure GM2. This was the relevant police signal with OB numbers indicating the brutal murder of 4 men in Taita Tana River County, presumably as a retaliatory attack in an ongoing clan dispute, which was spiraling out of control. As a result, the first respondent was represented in court by the aforementioned counsel, Mr. Utiende. Mr. Simon Kirui, the officer in charge of Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Kitengela, also attended, and Mr. Joseph Indeke, the investigating officer in the subject matter of the disappearance, also attended. After the court proceedings of the 5th of September, it was understood that Mr. Masengeli's personal attendance in court was required on 9th of September.
On which date? 5th.
After the 5th, yeah? The affidavit was filed on the 4th, but on the 5th it was clear that Mr. Masengeli's personal attendance in court was required on September 9th, or 9th of September. However, in the interim, the security situation had deteriorated considerably and increased in its complexity. As demonstrated by annexures to Mr. Masengeli's affidavit marked GM3. It is a police signal, complete with OB numbers, indicating an Al-Shabaab attack on one of the police stations in Wajir County, which event demanded Mr. Masengeli's, with other senior security personnel, personal attendance. My Lord, national security is the protection against internal and external threats to Kenya's territory and territorial integrity and sovereignty. It's the protection of Kenya and its people, their rights, freedom, property, peace, stability, and prosperity, and other national interests, as enshrined in Article 238-239 of the Constitution. All institutions of and in the Republic exist under the aegis of a secure, sovereign military. The primary object of any national security organ and security system, including the National Police Service, is to promote and guarantee national security in accordance with the principles mentioned in Article 238(2) of the Constitution. The fundamental nature of national security cannot therefore be overstated. But it is also equally fundamental and a fundamental constitutional principle that the national security organs are subordinate to civilian authority, Article 239(5). That is why, despite the excruciating and heavy security demand upon him at the material time, Mr. Masengeli nonetheless saw it fit that the DIG, Mr. Eliud Lagat, attends court on the 9th of September, and he attended. For the first respondent, he wasn't given audience, and it now transpires that, given the specificity of the orders issued by the courts latterly, and quite understandably, Mr. Lagat could not and did not have audience before the court. When the court sentenced Mr. Masengeli on the 13th of September 2024 for contempt of court, he was still in Marsabit County coordinating security operations. Annexure 4, G4, in his affidavit, is a police signal with OB numbers, indicating that an unknown number of armed militia had attacked a bus.
When the court sentenced him, where was he?
Sorry?
Where was he at the time of the sentence?
Or when the court sentenced on the 13th of September, he was still in Marsabit County, my lord, coordinating security operations. And that is evidenced by Annexure 4, G4, in his affidavit, which is a police signal. It has OB numbers, indicating that an unknown number of armed militia had attacked a bus service vehicle registration, KCX 039N, and had sprayed it with bullets with catastrophic results. My lord, the main objective in setting out the foregoing facts in extensio is not to excuse the failure by Mr. Masengeli to attend court. It is hoped, however, my Lord, that it will demonstrate that he did not deliberately degenerate this honorable court, as has been characterized by counsel for the petitioners and others, nor do the facts show that he did not recognize the authority of this honorable court. The apology which he wishes to tender and duly tenders to this honorable court today is without reserve. It was clearly tendered earlier in his affidavit of 12 September 2024, and it is repeated here. In my humble submission, my Lord, I plead with this honorable court to take into account the extenuating circumstances narrated by Mr. Masengeli in his affidavit, my Lord, this is not just a simple instance of clash of loyalties. It is rather a case of a security official caught up in the horns of a dilemma, whilst in the midst of a serious and delicate security emergency. It is easy in such circumstances for one, perhaps without deliberate intention, but instinctively, to gravitate towards national security operations over personal tribulations. My Lord, it is on this basis that we plead with you to exercise your judicial discretion to incline towards grace. My Lord, may you temper justice with mercy in the realization that the actions of Mr. Masengeli in his case were not sheer or brazen, but of loyalty of a citizen gone weary in the course of doing his best in a bad situation to serve two pressing and seemingly equally demanding solemn duties. I further plead with you to take into account the contemner's promise to file regularly a progress report on the investigations regarding the missing persons or any update therefrom.